It's been a lovely, lovely day, invigorating conversation. But we've got one more to go. And we are happy to have Mr. Olaniyi Yusuf, who is the chairman of the NESG, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. And of course, the gentleman who kicked things off and laid the foundation for today's conversation, Tola Adeyemi, senior partner, KPMG Nigeria, also CEO, KPMG West Africa. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us to round up everything we've heard. Mr. Olaniyi Yusuf, the NESG, you have spent, just like KPMG, you've provided advice to the government, you've analyzed the economy, you've given out lots of metrics that should be focused on. What is your takeaway from everything you've heard today?
Right. Interesting session since the morning, and I think it's been a very good use of my time. So a number of things. First is, this is a very ambitious budget. All right. In terms of revenue numbers, 19 billion revenue, of which 19 trillion revenue, of which 9 trillion of that should come from the oil sector. Now that is massive. So that assumes we must deliver on the 1.7 million barrels per day, and like we've been told, a number of things need to be put in place for that to come into fruition. And so an ambitious budget, but I'm happy with a few things. First is, we have about 39% of that focused on CAPEX. So it's been a long time that CAPEX has been in the 20% range. Now it's about 39%, almost 40% that are going to CAPEX. Well, about 12% focus on security. Yeah. If we don't assure the security of lives and assets, you're not going to get development. And so that is encouraging. We have about 15% of the budget focused on what I call human capital issues, health, education, social infrastructure, right? So again, that gives hope. Okay? And like we've heard from all the speakers, the private sector is ready and willing and able to bring capital. But concerns around government efficiency, how are we going to ensure that this spend, the quality of spending, it's improved. Concerns around security, concerns around the oil production volume, how are we going to meet that? We need more incentives to attract private capital, and not just foreign capital, but also domestic capital. All right, and so how are we incentivizing and attracting capital? That is important. Ease of doing business, that also needs to improve dramatically. We've seen a number of exits, even though those exits are based on decisions taken in the last so many years. Right from the Obasanjo regime, we've been trying to fix power. Right, 23 years after, we're still trying to fix power. And so there has to be pace in terms of how we improve the ease of doing business, how we improve power supply, and of course, how we ensure that regulations really promote and support the private sector, and not that regulation is seeking to make the private sectors, where regulators then become revenue and they have revenue targets. So we need to flip all of that. And I think those are some of the things that for me have come out. And I hope that if some of those things are put into place, then a large chunk of the 28 trillion budget can be implemented.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Tola Adeyemi, you set the ball rolling this morning with your fancy electronic wall here, taking us through the numbers and breaking everything down. What's been your takeaway from today?
Thank you, Rotus. A number of things have come out from the discussion as I reflect on what I've heard this morning. So I've heard a lot around implementation, the need to now move, in a sense, to deliver on the hope. We've got to move to action. So I heard a lot about having detailed work plans and executing on those work plans. I think that's going to be important for government to do in order to deliver on the promise of this budget. The other thing that comes out quite clearly, as Mr. Yusuf mentioned, is the fact that government cannot fix the problems of this country alone. Private sector investment is required. So when we speak to our clients, they keep asking us the question, what are the specific things that government is doing to help us, businesses that are here in Nigeria? And some of them say, we're waiting for a detailed action plan on that. So I think really focusing on the things that are needed to stimulate the private sector. They're enabling the business environment. That's got to be a key priority of government in order to really get this economy going. The other thing I will talk about is macroeconomic stability. Many of our clients are grappling with just the volatility that exists on many key indicators. Of course, FX is one of them. The other day I was speaking to a client and he says, look, I'm being turned from a manufacturer to
a currency speculator.
Yes, to a currency speculator, you know, and that's what we're spending our time doing. So he says, I don't care what the rate is, I just want it stable. So achieving macroeconomic stability, I think, is another key priority and an area of attention in terms of the themes that are coming out from our discussion today.
Fantastic. All right, we're out of time, but I do want to get an outlook on the economy from you both. Are you cautiously optimistic? Are you, Mr. Olaniyi, Yusuf, as we wrap up, what's your outlook for 2024?
I'm quite optimistic that 2024 will be much better than 2023. I think the things that needs to be done are clear. I think we have seasoned administrators behind the wheel, and so I'm quite optimistic.
Mr. Tola, Adeyemi, what's your outlook?
Nigeria is a country with huge potential. I think, you know, we've all got to remain optimistic about Nigeria. But to fuel that optimism, we need to move from hope to action.
Yeah. Mr. Tola Adeyemi, Senior Partner KPMG in Nigeria, also CEO KPMG West Africa, Mr. Olaniyi Yusuf, Chairman NESG, that's the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. Thank you both for wrapping up this bow on what has been a great day. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the Budget Day 2024, brought to you by Arise TV and KPMG. It's been an awesome day. Don't forget, at Arise TV on X, also at KPMG_NG. Thank you so much. I'm Rosu Sodiri. We will see you in 2025.